The 2005 class that got drafted in Dallas, we changed a lot about the culture here.
Coach Parcells comes on the phone. Hey, we're bringing you guys in here. We got to start playing some better defense. You ready to go, kid?
They explained to us how important we were in terms of what this team was going to be.
When we look back at that 2005 draft, it was unbelievable the amount of defensive talent.
What they call him now is swagoo. He brought the swag.
We only gonna be as good as we all push each other.
And Jay is why we love the game of football.
And I am a Dallas Cowboy forever.
I would stack our 2005 draft class in Dallas up against any draft class in Dallas history, bro. And we had a lot of success, bro. Like, we had a lot of success here playing well. All of us ended up getting second deals. All of us ended up playing at a very high level and playing for a long time.
At that time, we'd had varying degrees of success on defense, and it was more with an older school scheme of the 4-3 style.
Philosophically, Dallas was the antithesis of what I used to be playing. I was a 3-4 guy. I had played 3-4 for pretty much all my years in pro football. Dallas was a 4-3 team, so we had quite a philosophical change to make.
So really the mindset was to try and get the defense better. We were switching from a 4-3 defense, which was very successful, to a 3-4 front, so we needed to get the players to do that, and that really was the goal going forward.
Bill wanted to go back to playing, you know, some big boy style that he played with the Giants for a long time, and that's what he knew best of everything else.
So this was a pivotal draft as far as making that transition from a 4-3 team to a 3-4 team, which is where DeMarcus Ware comes in.
Ware was just so good, bro. And you know, the crazy thing is, you played at Tennessee. We knew nobody from Troy.
Nobody.
We did, like,
nobody.
What?
And Ware was the small college kid, a bit undersized, great production, but because of the level of competition, you're not sure what you're getting with Ware. The thing about Ware, he had a chip on his shoulder. There's a kid that lived across the street from Auburn, wanted to play at Auburn. Auburn didn't want him. No one wanted him. He had one scholarship offer, Troy. He carried that with him for a long time.
Cox, no place to run to as again.
I mean, coming from a small school, the opportunities that you have are minimal. They're really small. And I knew that making the Senior Bowl, I had to showcase my talent because coming from Troy University, they told me you were too small. They told me, can he actually go from defensive end to outside linebacker? There was a lot of doubts. And so Bill Parcells, I remember they said, hey, that's the tuna. And when he pointed me out and he was like, hey, I need for you to go against, I think it was Wesley Britt. And he was the #1 tackle from Alabama that was going to be in the draft. And I'm looking at him and I'm like, if I can beat him, that's my opportunity to let everybody know, or I might even get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys if they like me, because if I impress Bill Parcells. I went there and I crushed Wesley Britt, because that's the way I felt and what I knew I had to do.
Again, another good rush that time by DeMarcus Ware.
I didn't think I was going to come to Dallas. I knew San Diego was number 12. I'd probably go number 12. So it's gonna be Marcus Spears or Sean Merriman
Right.
in Dallas because you no matter what, you was a 3-4 guy.
Yep.
They say, oh, he's gonna be perfect.
Bill really liked Marcus Spears a lot and really had a vision for him fitting into the new scheme we were going to move to, because Marcus had power, he had a little bit of finesse, he was a big dancing bear that could do a lot of things, but you know, DeMarcus was really special, super special as a pass rusher off the edge. And the same with Sean Merriman. Sean Merriman was another guy that you knew could come off the edge. Most of the group was really, really high on DeMarcus and felt like he was the clear guy out of those three.
The scouts had vision for the type of player that they felt like that Bill needed, and Bill was saying, well, Merriman kind of fits my eye too.
Merriman was a bigger-than-life, lights-out character. And again, Sean played a loud game, talked a big game, and I thought the more Pro Bowls he got, the bigger that persona was going to get. And I talked to Ware at the Combine, and I thought, here's a guy that if you draft him, he's going to be the same guy 10 years from now that he is the day you get him. I couldn't say that about Merriman. In Ware's case, I don't think he ever thought he made it. Even when he's going to Pro Bowls, I think there was more out there for DeMarcus Ware.
It was really tough because both players at the end of it had the same grade. And it came down to really Jerry and Steven and Bill making a final decision.
With the 11th selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select DeMarcus Ware, defensive end, Troy State.
I was very concerned about the defensive linemen, and I felt like we could maybe get one of the linebackers, since there were a couple there a little later, so I was inclined towards Spears, but we picked the best player.
Then you got Sean Merriman, you had the other two. So I said, well, then both of them, or I didn't know they had 2 first rounders at the time. I said, they're gonna go to Dallas, I go to San Diego. Lo and behold, boom, got that call at 11, and then Sean Merriman was at 12. I said, what if we get Marcus Spears?
Then the focus came, okay, well then how do we go and get Spears?
With the 20th selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Marcus Spears, defensive end from LSU.
I'll never forget, bro, picking up the phone. Marcus, this is Jerry Jones. I said, oh my God. He was like, yeah, man, we turning your card in. And then he's like, I'm gonna put Bill on the phone. You know what Bill said to me? I told you, 305, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Let me like enjoy, like hi, hello. Yeah, I was like 285. I don't know what he was thinking. I knew D. Ware 5 months before we ended up on the same team. Me and D. Ware at the Senior Bowl were roommates. I don't know if a lot of people know that. When Dallas picked me, I was like, well, at least I know somebody. It just made it so much more, like I was so, yeah, I was like, I'm going in with another rookie. We both first round, we're gonna have these expectations, but we'll be able to bounce it off each other. And we still bounce it off each other to this day. To this day, bro, that was dope.
With pick number 42, Dallas has selected from the University of Tennessee, linebacker Kevin Burnett.
I remember draft day. It was a bittersweet moment for me. Jerry called me. Well, I saw the phone. This is back when you had the little LCD screen with the caller ID. And I see Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, shh, everybody's quiet me. And I'm talking to Jerry. He's like, Kevin, well, we just turned your name in. All right, cool. And then Coach Parcells comes on the phone. Hey, we bringing you guys in here. We got to start playing some better defense. You ready to go, kid? Yes, sir.
Kevin really fit that bill of height, weight, speed because he had size. He was a 240-plus pound linebacker who ran in the low 4.5s. He played in the SEC, he played big boy football already. He was a big guy that could run, and that's exactly what we're looking for to keep building that defense.
KB, what was that experience like, bro? Because now you walking into a building with All-Americans, dudes that play at the same level. Because in college, you got guys that are good, but they not going. But when you walking out here,
you pushed yourself in college because you wanted to. But now it's like a whole nother level. Like you trying to, hey, that's Jerry Jones over there, bro. Like that's Bill Parcells talking. So it's different than Coach Former urging you, hey, you need to go to class, or Nick Saban saying, hey, you know, it's totally different. Hey, now, bro, if I don't do my job, my kids don't eat, bro. So it's amplified by 10 now. Like, I'm in the NFL now, and I'm a Dallas Cowboy. Like, you know, the star travels. I mean, you playing on America's team.
So it was a long, winding road to being the 132nd pick for the Dallas Cowboys in 2005. And I remember going into my last year at Virginia, I was on a preseason watch list for All-Americans, Bednarik Award, all of these prestigious accolades that a collegiate athlete would hope for. And in my fourth game into my senior year, I end up destroying my knee. Now, not just a torn ACL, but you're talking about tearing 3 of the 4 ligaments in your knee. So once I'm back on my feet, once I left Birmingham, Alabama, I got into my draft prep, and that led me to Scottsdale, Arizona, when I was training at a facility with a lot of other NFL hopefuls. And one night over the weekend, guys decided we wanted to get together and go to a nightclub. So we went out in Scottsdale. A fight breaks out in that venue. None of the guys are involved in the altercation. We're trying to get out because we don't want the headlines. And I get hit in the face with a glass bottle. That bottle ends up cutting my eyeball open. I had an open globe situation. I'm rushed to a local hospital, and it was there where they had to have emergency surgery. So if you can think about this happened in January of 2005. I've got the biggest job interview in the world coming up in a few weeks at the Combine, and I'm just recovering from a multi-ligament knee reconstruction and now a severely detached retina. And not to mention 50 stitches in my face.
We were trying to get the information about the eye. There was some possibilities that it might not be as good as it needed to be, and would you draft a player that had maybe a handicap like that?
That was that big power end type player, tons of athletic ability again, but had this giant question mark of whether or not he could even play football again. But we did a lot of work on him, and we felt like 4th round certainly was a great risk-reward investment with Chris, and I think it certainly paid off.
And at that stage, I just wanted an opportunity. I just wanted an opportunity to start my football future in the NFL. And you know, I was just hoping that there would be a team that would be willing to invest the kind of time, be patient, and put the supporting cast around me where I could have a real shot at realizing my potential.
We talk about the 2005 draft, and with all the picks that we had, you're not going to hit on every single one of them. You know, we had a couple other guys late that played a little bit. Rob Petiti did. He came in and helped us at tackle. He's a big, strong, tough Northeastern offensive lineman, a big bruiser.
Rob started. Petiti was a tackle. He started every game. We had an injury right his rookie year. He started every game. Remember, he got that big bonus. Y'all know I'm always thinking about Monday. Remember, he got that big rookie bonus.
Rob was like in his own little world just because there was so much pressure and so much responsibility on him as a starting right tackle, but he never got too high, he never got too low.
He was there, but you know, he wasn't quite good enough for the long run. We took a flyer on a kid named Justin Barrio, who, you know, unfortunately concussions kept him from ever, you know, Justin had him before he was even able to make an impact for us.
Justin Barrio was a silent assassin.
And you would never think a guy of that stature would hit like that.
And I wish we had a chance to see the end of that movie in terms of him being able to stick around a little bit longer, but that guy was unbelievable in terms of the energy that he played with.
You know, sometimes it works, but not every pick works out, so, you know, but then you follow it up in the 7th round with a Jay Ratliff.
Jay Ratliff.
Yes.
7th round pick out of Auburn.
Jay was a little bit undersized, as a defensive tackle. Traditionally, these nose tackles are big, bulky type guys. Jay, for an undersized guy, played the position so well.
He was a 7th round pick that started off at Auburn as a tight end and ended up a defensive lineman, and boy did he blossom when he was here under our scheme then.
And he was the 7th round guy that everybody expected to be around here for a couple months, and then he'll get cut and he'll bounce around the league, and hopefully he'll find a place. Jay refused to let people forget about him.
Jay wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest, but when it came to sheer will and pure strength, he's probably at the top of the list.
Looking at our draft class, he was the guy that brought that aggressiveness that you really need to have in order to be successful.
When you watched him play at Minnesota, he was so tough. The way he finished runs, he was physical. He was the type of guy that Parcells really wanted to play with. He wanted to bring that type of toughness to the room, and Marion Barber was that and even more.
Tackle the 10 to the 5 and dives in.
He had these big, huge headphones, and he would listen to Kirk Franklin and Donnie McClurkin before the game. I mean, and just blasting as loud as you could get it. And you would think, how could this guy run like this and listen to gospel music?
Do what you love. It's just that simple.
Marion was a physical, dirty yard player that just played with a degree of physicality that wasn't out there a whole lot. Again, it goes back to a big, physical, tough football player, and that's what the mantra was of Prototype and what Bill was trying to get us to build the team with at the time, and Marion certainly fit that bill.
Marion was a sledgehammer. He became the physical identity of that Dallas Cowboys offense.
Sources have confirmed that former Cowboys running back Marion Barber has been found dead inside a Frisco residence this afternoon. The 38-year-old Barber retired from the National Football League 10 years ago. He played for the Cowboys for 6 seasons.
But it just reminds you of your own mortality. Because this is a guy that shared a lot of laughs with. This is a guy that I grew up with. And for it to end tragically in the way that it did, it's sad. You grieve for the loss of life, you grieve for the friendship, you grieve for the loss for his family, but then you think about your life. And it just makes you take inventory on what's really important. And it also reminds you that you need to lean into the relationships with the people that you love and the people that you care for.
We had one guy in our class, Marion Barber, who we lost. And we've been sitting here reminiscing about all of the good things that happened. D-Ware, give me one memory, one good memory. And I know it's more than one, but give me one good memory about Marion, because I want to honor him when people watch this, man, because I don't want his story at the end of his life to be his story.
The memory that I remember of him is when he lived over there in the glass house in Dallas, the Azure.
Downtown.
Mm-hmm. And we should sit down there, we should just chat, because he was more like a Bob Marley type dude. Not because of his hair, but because of just the vibe. He was always real happy and chill and relaxing. When you get around him, you couldn't help but to chill.
Yeah.
And so I remember he was like, yeah, D-Ware, you know about these pianos over here? And I said, no. And he gets on the piano, dog, and he started playing the piano. And it made me really relax. And I'm like, this dude, again, brought a vibe.
I think for me, man, y'all remember the Big Spades tournament. I remember sitting at that table, we would not be at football work. We would not be at football practice. I remember leaning over to MB, I said, man, you know, this is what I imagined when I thought about being a pro football player. He said, and I'll never forget this, I'm having the time of my life. He said, man, I'm having the time of my life. Now remember, he had starting, he was playing out of his mind, Pro Bowl, all of the things that we knew he was capable of was starting to happen for him in the game. But I think in life at that point, he was relaxing a little bit. That's how I am going to choose to remember MB, as having the time of his life. A lot of times the stories get lost about the person because we focus on the tragedy. And I think a big part of Marion Barber in our experience is Marion the Barbarian having the time of his life, dog.
That was
Yeah.
the 1 yard run where he ran back. It was,
Was it
a gain? It was a 2 yard run.
Something like
The
that.
best 2 yard run I've ever
40 for
seen.
Ran 40 for 2.
Best 2 yard game probably in history.
Avoided a safety.
I said, dude, come on, dude.
And they run it. Barber better be careful. That got him in the end zone. Masani Samuel has a shot. Now Green, how does he escape? Unbelievable run by Marion Barber to save 2 points.
I mean, you know, God rest his soul, but man, when he played for the Cowboys, he was unbelievable.
Do I think I improved the team? The answer to that is yes. Personnel-wise, I know we were better.
The 2005 class that got drafted in Dallas, we changed a lot about the culture here. I give Bill credit until this day, Parcells. Y'all remember that meeting when he said, I need a bunch of Rottweilers and not a bunch of sheep. Y'all took that personal. Like everybody took it personal. And I think that was a time where we realized like, we only gonna be as good as we all push each other to be.
I remember after one of our rookie minicamp practices, he brought the entire draft class together and he explained to us how important we were in terms of what this team was going to do. They needed us in order to move away from what they had been doing for the previous 3 seasons or so.
When I first got in with Bill Parcells, he's a big mind game guy.
Early on in the regular season, DeMarcus Ware, he had a decent start, but there was the guy out in the Chargers, Sean Merriman, who the Cowboys were also considering taking. And so Bill would always use Sean Merriman and say, well, hey, we're gonna start calling you other guy until you catch up to the guy in San Diego.
And Bill Parcells used to walk up to him and say, should I have drafted you or that other guy?
For all of his first round draft picks, he makes sure you get him Gatorade on every single break. But he got them to do that for him to talk to him. And Bill told me about being humbled, and he humbles his athletes, especially his first round draft picks. He said, DeMarcus, he said, I need for you to be the best player you're gonna be. I want for you to be able to play through anything. He got me to that point. But he played those games with me, and it sort of made me battle hardened.
Everybody's gonna pay attention to the sacks. but it's being disruptive. It's quarterback hits. It's getting in the backfield. It's making the offense adjust in a way that they don't want to. You started seeing teams move the protections toward DeMarcus. And you realize, okay, if this guy stays healthy, he has a chance to be a really, really special player in this league. And he has a chance to help us win a lot of football games.
Talented, but when it started helping me, when it started helping Chris, when it started helping Jay, you, like it became like, D-Ware, what are we doing today?
Exactly. What they call him now is swagoo. He brought the swag. So Marcus Spears brought a lot of versatility that we needed and speed off the edge from a big guy. So Kevin Burnett was like the glue of the team. Kevin Burnett, no matter where you put him at, he was just a bolt of light. And if you needed an anchor, I'm talking about that huge anchor when you throw on the side of that boat, it's gonna stop anything. That was Chris.
The value he provides, what he does, I mean, you think Empire State Building because he stands out.
And Jay is why we love the game of football. Because there are guys that, from a measurable standpoint, should not be very competitive in this league, and yet they end up being downright dominant.
I've always had a great appreciation for the last pick to make good. And I think Jay is, for me, that's what Jay epitomizes. When you talk about earn everything, like he earned the right to be called a big-time football player.
Bill Parcells left shortly after that. Wade Phillips and what he did with that defense and where it ranked in the NFL over a period of time, he put that all in place, and that draft allowed them to get to that place, which they wouldn't have been able to if they hadn't hit on so many players from that draft.
Rivers under center. They're going to run the ball outside on the right, and Tomlinson dragged down by Ware. Rivers under center, second down, about 8. Fakes the draw, back to throw, rushed, hit. He avoids the sack, throws it deep out to the left, incomplete. And an injured Cowboy. That's DeMarcus Ware, Brad. And he is writhing in pain.
I remember that San Diego game, trying to get a sack on Phillip Rivers. I beat the tackle around the corner. I remember just trying to, get to him. He steps up and I see Anthony Spencer. And so I just tucked, boom, hit the ground. And I was just thinking that, hey, just get up. But for some reason, I wasn't moving. But in my mind, I was moving. And so I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, what is going on?
They're bringing the cart for DeMarcus Ware.
They unscrewed the face mask and removed it from the helmet, so DeMarcus is still wearing his helmet, but the face mask has been removed now.
Ware is talking to Spears. They were drafted together in the first round. And Spears comes over, whispers something to him, and Ware reaches out and squeezes his buddy's arm.
And Marcus Spears like, listen, bro, you need to move.
First of all, you were Superman to us. You know, you get injured, all right, D-Ware banged up.
Right.
He about to pop up, we good, right? And then I started getting scared. Because he ain't moving nothing. And he laying there, and I said, hey, man, move your legs.
Seeing it happen real time, okay, and being on another team, then I walked on the field and I'm looking around. D-Ware, for me, never gets hurt.
I knew in my heart that something wasn't right, so I just started tearing up. I remember being able to hold my arm up just for a thumbs up. You need to let them know that you're okay. And I gave that thumbs up before they put me in that ambulance.
We'll hear a big ovation now from this crowd for the great superstar, DeMarcus Ware, a great, great football player, a better human being.
And I went to the hospital, and I passed all the tests. You know, the next day I walked into the locker room, they just looking at you like, you all right, bro? I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
And I remember, you know, going through that week, everything was good, feeling good. And I wasn't thinking about going to play against the Saints. I wasn't thinking about that. And I remember getting off the bus, and I seen all the boys walking. They were walking with their heads up high, but what I saw is all their heads down.
Bro, Saints was 13-0.
13-0,
yeah.
and we were good. We was almost trying to get.
That was D1.
That was D game.
Yep.
And I remember walking into the locker room.
I remember going to ask the coach, can I play on third down? I convinced him, and I remember putting my pads on, and I remember coming out of the tunnel, and I saw the guys like, what are you doing?
I said, D-Ware, bro, it's no way that you can play. I was like, I'm calling everybody. I'm calling your mama.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, you cannot go on the field today. Like, we literally 4 days away from this dude that's moving on the field. I said, what are you doing? And I'll never forget what D-Ware said to me. He was like, I'm gonna only rush on third down, and we're gonna close the game out.
No one gave the Cowboys a shot at that game. Even with a healthy DeMarcus Ware, it's unrealistic to expect Dallas to go into that environment the way the Saints are playing this year and take that game.
First and goal at the 3. Eye left, hand off Barber. Left guard, banging, diving into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys.
Nice, just big power
Second
football.
13. Breeze back out of the gun. Stops, looks. Ware hit him and he fumbled the ball. And the Cowboys, I think, have recovered it. Dallas recovered it at the 24-yard line. Spencer recovered it. How about DeMarcus Ware getting a sack, strip, forced fumble?
I'm thinking to myself, this is the greatest performance I've ever seen.
Under pressure, sacked by Spencer.
Earlier.
Snap to Breeze, first down at the 41. He's bumped, he avoids pressure. He throws it over the middle. Thomas is all alone at the 30.
The Saints down by 7. Remember, New Orleans out of timeouts. They can't stop the clock.
12 seconds, Breeze in the gun on second down. Back, sets, hit, fumbled the ball. The Cowboys recover. The Cowboys are going to beat the Saints, and it was DeMarcus Ware who knocked it out.
He brought his A game with a bad neck.
And that's when the Hulk woke back up.
We go down to New Orleans, they were on top of the world at the time, and you know, we were definitely an underdog moving in there with that, and you know, we knocked out their undefeated streak, and DeMarcus was, one week you're thinking this guy's career might be over, the next week he's right back at it winning football games for you.
2 sacks later with 2 forced fumbles, winning the game. That was like that point of my career that was like, you know what, I am not invincible, but I'm Superman to my team.
The reason why DeMarcus Ware became the football player he became is because he played the game like a kid.
Right.
We all at a certain point became professionals. The dude smiled. in 100-degree weather when we was dying.
Laughing,
right? And I'm like, what in the world? I used to get mad at him. So, Ware, it ain't always fun. You know? I'm tired. It ain't always fun.
All the guys that I was drafted with were always part of the game. Our group of us playing together, I can't even tell you the words of how close we were.
We are the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm around some really cool dudes. I never had a brother, none of that stuff, but all y'all were my brothers.
Yeah.
And so on the field, I was just like, I got all y'all out here acting the fool, and I got this grass out here, and what they're paying me to, oh, I'm finna have a great time.
Everybody in the class thought they were the best player in the class. But that's what made it so great in terms of the competition.
Sometimes in a draft, you have a vision for a player, but that doesn't always fulfill. In this case, every one of those players you had a vision for ended up having just a productive career and went on and did great things wherever they played.
It was tough, okay? Spending 4 years here, you learn a lot. All athletes want to be a starter at some point in time. I felt I would never get the chance to be a starter here. Initially, I was drafted here. Then I played 4 years here. Went to San Diego, played there for 2. Then I went to Miami, played there for 2. And then I went to Oakland and played there for 1. And so, look, I jumped from team to team. I mean, that's what it was. You jump from team to team. And do I identify? I mean, I think I'll always be a Cowboy.
KB, I know you in Florida, you mentoring, changing young men's lives, that has taken up coaching.
Right now, we're self-destructing. Just like last week.
I can't change the world, but I could definitely hold down my corner. I could do my part to make sure the kids that I come in contact with are better tomorrow than they are today. So now, you get somebody to teach you this at 14, 15, 16 years old, so they can have a better life, regardless of what it is after high school football.
Give you guys a whole lot. Grades.
To be a part of that kind of class was a unique opportunity. It was a special opportunity. I needed to get paid. I was a 4th-round pick. I saw DeMarcus, Ware, and Marcus Spears. They had huge money and guarantees as rookies. I was like, I gotta go get my bag. I don't look at it as, oh, I'm just an ex-NFL player. No, I'm a former Cowboy, I'm a former Giant, and I'm a former Raven. But there's always gonna be that affinity for the Dallas Cowboys because they took a chance on me when pretty much every other team in the NFL wouldn't. I was down bad going into the NFL draft with the knee and the eye injury. They gave me a shot. And that's why if you go into my home office, you'll see the jersey from my rookie year. But checking in at number 1, we got Micah Parsons, that man from the Dallas Cowboys. I got into the media because I never really wanted to work a day job. It just seemed like a way to be able to use my football acumen and my overall sports knowledge to do something really, really fun.
Dak is one of the more cerebral quarterbacks in the NFL. It's a great thing for the Dallas Cowboys because I believe in Dak Prescott still.
I always say you are where you start. And I started with the Dallas Cowboys. And I am a Dallas Cowboy forever. Because when I first got here, I said I want to etch my name in stone of a Dallas Cowboy star. I feel like I did that.
I get to the Super Bowl, and then when I went out, I know that a lot of y'all weren't there, but y'all were there.
Yeah.
I know y'all were watching. At the end of that game, and when I hoist that Super Bowl trophy up, I was like, I know they proud of me.
I think for KB, and I feel comfortable speaking on everybody's behalf in this class, is, man, take your bow, bro.
So Jerry Jones brought me in. He announced me in. And now he's gonna solidify me in.
You gave me the opportunity to play in two of the greatest stadiums with the most amplified crowds. Those places became my new church every Sunday. When you see that bust, it's not just a DeMarcus Ware bust. That is a story. It's a story. And Marcus Spears is in that story. Kevin is in that story. Everybody is in that story. So that story gets enshrined in that bust, and it's going to live forever.
There are kids that are not born that's going to be like, that's DeMarcus Ware, one of the greatest players ever played in the NFL.
Players go through a lot together. We watch each other grow as men, husbands, and fathers. We build bonds that last forever. I smile because you guys were the highlight of my day, and you helped me get through life outside of football.
I don't know exactly where the future is, but I know I'm still in it. And whatever door opens up, I'm gonna kick it down, and I'm gonna go 100% at it.
When you have the ability to add a bunch of young, talented guys like we did that year, and of course, when we look back at that 2005 draft, it was unbelievable the amount of defensive talent, especially in the front seven, that we were able to add that year.
The 2005 class that got drafted in Dallas, we changed a lot about the culture here.
Coach Parcells comes on the phone. Hey, we're bringing you guys in here. We got to start playing some better defense. You ready to go, kid?
They explained to us how important we were in terms of what this team was going to be.
When we look back at that 2005 draft, it was unbelievable the amount of defensive talent.